Hi, I'm Elizabeth, the Foster Care and Community Engagement Coordinator with Marion County Children's Services, and I'm here with Kay for another episode of our podcast. Today we're going to be talking about kinship services in honor of Kinship Month. And so Kay, I'll just let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Kay Robinson. I am a grandmother of a child that I've had to take in, and I work here in one of the hospitals. I've been there for 27 years, and I'm an administrative nursing administrator. So
Great. So you're a great part of the community. We're
Yeah.
glad to have you here. So we'll just jump in. So can you kind of explain, and I will preface this by letting everyone know that when Kay and I were talking about this, we did talk about, obviously, we maintain privacy and confidentiality at the agency. It's very important to us, so we won't get into too many specifics, but can you kind of talk about the circumstances that led you to the position of being a kinship provider?
It seemed there was an accident that caused me to end up taking my granddaughter because there was some problems with the other child, so I ended up taking her in as, which was not a big deal for me because I love my grandkids, but it has been a battle for the moment.
Yeah. And that's, obviously changes a lot in your life.
Oh yeah, it changes a lot in your life, so yeah.
Okay, well, we're thankful that you said yes. So what was the process like?
Well, it wasn't too difficult. It was just like, trying to find time to go get fingerprinted and things of that nature, and having to find a babysitter for her because at the time her mom was still in the hospital. So it was just a lot of, I had to reorganize me to reorganize what she needed to have done, and I needed to do that for her. So that was the main thing. Your people came in and helped and answered all my questions that I needed, because there was a lot of things, because I've never worked with CPS before. So it was a lot of things that I had to do.
Okay. So can you maybe explain a little bit about, like, what was it like when we were coming out to your home? Like, what are some of the things that we did?
Well, you just basically, I believe it was Tony that first came out, and she just sat down and talked to us about what needed to be done and how things were going to work, and then she passed it on to, I can't remember her name. Anyway, she passed it on to her intake person, who came out and with her manager or supervisor did like a kind of walkthrough to make sure Laura was okay with being with me, and that I was okay being, taking care of her, which, it's never been a second thought in my mind and not to take care of her. I have lots of family members who have had to take in kin, so it's never been any problem there. But, you guys have all been kind of really good and answered questions and did things and offered things, and pretty much it was a pretty good process for me.
Great. Awesome. Can you talk about any assistance our agency has provided, if any?
Well, I haven't had to have any of the assistance. However, they have offered, things like vouchers, I believe, for clothing and different things. But, right after the accident, her and I took a long vacation, and we found lots of clothing for school and got supplies and things like that. But they had things that they could hook me up with if I needed that stuff. But I was capable of getting that myself, so I didn't take the opportunity to use it.
Okay. Yeah, and so I just want to remind anybody who's watching and maybe has some questions about that. We do have a kinship podcast a couple episodes ago where we did talk to Tony, who you were just mentioning, as well as Liz Arthur, who is another one of our, she's actually a 30 Days to Family specialist. So they both work with kinship families, and we talk a lot about some of the assistance and everything that we provide. But we also do our best to connect people with resources in the community, because we know we can't meet every need. And so if we can, we try to get people connected there. So what have been some of the challenges in being a kinship provider?
Well, the biggest challenge right now is the schooling, the way things have to be, because she's in kindergarten. So, we're taking her 2 days. She's doing homeschool 3 days. So it's kind of like, I haven't had a child in kindergarten for 28 years. So it was like, whoa, we got a lot to do here. But, and trying to figure out just like, because we have, counselor appointments and CPS appointments and things like that. And I have to work it around my work schedule, plus taking her to a babysitter, which is something she's never had to do in the past. So it's things like that that make it difficult. But other than that, we're doing okay. I mean, you just have to figure out how to work your schedule around the other process. I always say I can't work my schedule around me. I have to work me around my schedule. So that's pretty much how we've been doing it.
Well, I think you and I had this conversation on the phone the other day talking about, you know, it's one thing when you're parenting a child and you're taking care of them and they're growing up, and then you have had your kids out of the house.
Right.
And now we have another child, and suddenly it's not a baby.
Right.
But there are a lot of things.
There's still a lot of needs that they need. And as a grandparent, you're the one that fills them up with chocolate and sends them out. But as now I feel like I'm the parent again, so I have to not put them in that chocolate spell and let them go crazy, but take care of them and make sure that they're maintaining everything. Which yesterday she decided she wanted to cut her hair. And
great.
yeah, I had her mom and my cousin there watching her, and she cut her hair while they weren't paying attention. I'm like, what are you two doing? I found the hair this morning on the floor and went, oh, we've had a good haircut. Which I didn't see her much last night because I had worked 12 hours yesterday, plus I went to the emergency room to get my asthma checked out. So yeah, it was a little unheartening. She's like, well, I don't like long hair. So we're going to fix that maybe tomorrow.
So what have been some of the rewards of being a kinship provider?
Oh, well, you know, just having her around a lot. I have enjoyed my grandchildren my whole life. I mean, ever since they've been born. Their whole life, I guess, not mine. But I've always loved kids and stuff. And we have a big family, an extended family, and everybody's there. But yeah, just having her around and watching some of the quirky things she does as a 6-year-old. And I think back when my kids were that size, and I'm like, I don't remember them doing that. But I think at that time, I was more trying to be a parent and not a grandparent parent, I guess. Yeah. I'm not even sure what you'd call that right now. But anyway, it was things like that. It's just, you know, she does some very funny things. Like she says, I cannot like that. It's like, or I cannot want to do that. It's like, yeah, you got to do that, but I cannot want to do that. So it's like, okay.
Well, you cannot want to do that, but it still has to get done.
Right, it still has to be done. So like if she doesn't want to do her schoolwork, I cannot want to do that right now. Yeah, you cannot. You can want to do that right now.
Right.
So you kind of like laugh and go on and like push her back towards where she has to be and doing her math and her reading and so forth. So it's just.
So you get to
funny,
enjoy a
quirky
lot.
things. I do enjoy a lot more. You know, like with my kids, it was always, you know, you had to have this, and this. And it's totally different being a grandparent because you don't want to be that structured. As a parent, you have to be that structured. As a grandparent, you shouldn't have to be. But right now, I have to be both. So,
right.
I mean, we're dealing through it. And she's loving life right now.
So
except for the haircut.
Right.
I'm not loving that. So.
She's maybe liking it.
Yeah, she's liking it. But she just took a couple wisps, so we're okay. I mean,
all right.
As long as it's not too bad. It still blends in and it looks okay. So.
Well, I have a question for you that wasn't on here, but it's something that I was thinking of as we were talking. How much notice did you get that we wanted to have a child stay with you?
Almost none.
Right.
I mean, the accident happened and it was almost like, you know, I just had to be. The accident happened at 6:30 that night, and Tony was at my house by midnight. So it was kind of like in a 6-hour span, everything just, my whole life kind of turned up evil. So that's kind of the way it went. It wasn't like, you know, you don't always get that notice in life. You have to run with the punches is what I say. But
expect the unexpected.
Yeah, expect the unexpected. You can always wish for the best, but expect the worst is what, you know. But I really didn't have any kind of notice, but it was not a big deal for me. And like I said, I have had multiple family members that had to take in either their grandchild or one of their brothers or sisters' kids. It all depended, you know. So I was used to it kind of, but it never affected me in that manner. And it's just a whole new world right now. So we're working through it.
Okay. So what would you say to someone who gets that phone call and maybe they're feeling a little hesitant? Because obviously we're expecting the unexpected. So obviously we're going about our day. We're not considering that might come up. But what if someone gets that phone call? What would you say to them?
Well, to them, I just say, you know, expect it. You know, you think through what you can do and what you can't do for the child. But you really do need to understand it's not easy. I mean, there's a lot of things that, like I said, I've never worked with CPS before. So There's a lot of things that I had no idea loops I had to go through to do things, not loops, but different things you have to do. Like, you know, you have to take them for different counseling, you have to do for this. It's just different things. So you have to be able to look at that and say the broad picture and then draw it back. Can I do this? And, you know, it was not even a thought process for me. I knew that no matter what, I was doing it. But some people need to look at how their life goes and are they going to be able to support that child and do everything that child needs. I mean, you guys give them great support, but if they're not willing emotionally to take care on that responsibility, they need to think about it, because it isn't easy. And, you know, like I said, the schoolwork's about to blow my mind. I mean,
I can feel that as a parent.
I'm 57 years old, and doing kindergarten schoolwork is like, okay, and you don't understand how OCD I am. And she was cutting out papers the other day, and it was like, oh God, you're cutting through that. Please don't do that.
A little jagged.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, everything was jagged. But I had to draw back and say, this is how she has to learn. You can cut, because I do quilts and stuff, you can cut straight lines. She can't do that yet, so let her learn it. So it was
That's
like,
great
okay.
advice for any parent,
Yeah.
grandparent, parent, or
you
parent.
have to step back and go, okay, let them learn at their pace and praise them for whatever they do.
Yeah.
I mean, the tiger's ears were like minuscule, and they should have been a lot bigger, but it was like, that's a beautiful tiger, and we're going to go with it. So
I was just thinking yesterday about that
cheering
stuff.
section.
Yes. How many times I have to act just amazed by different Lego sculptures. Like, it's great. So, well, that about wraps us up. If you have any questions on being a kinship provider, or if you are a kinship provider and need to know a little bit more about that support that we can offer you, feel free to contact us at the agency, and I will leave my information down below. And if you, again, have any questions about anything that we're doing here or how we work with other agencies in the community, feel free to send me an email, comment on our Facebook page. We really welcome any of that feedback. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.